All right, so we've heard a lot in the news lately about the small business loans or even the stimulus checks, but that's not where I'm going with this. So I've known people who've applied for the loan and were denied that first round. Maybe there's a second round coming. But I saw recently in the news that some big banks, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, were being sued by smaller businesses for this loan because um, they were supposed to file them first come first serve, um, and they were not. They were the ones that were larger loan amounts were pushed through first, and so there's some individual lawsuits happening out there. So if you just talk for just a second about that, and if anybody has a concern.
Obviously, I think everyone's understanding of these stimulus packages was that the money would be allocated for small businesses, and I do believe that the way that it was told to us, or at least conveyed to the public, was that the loans would be processed in the way that they were applied. The order basically that you applied through whatever lender it was that you were being sent to try and get that loan for your small business. But as with any federal legislation and any sort of time that you're relying on a big corporation to who has a duty that they owe to their shareholders and their individual stockholders. The problem that I think has arisen with this that most people saw is that the money, not only in the first round, was extinguished pretty quickly, and the news started trickling out that a lot of big businesses were getting prioritized and getting this massive amount of money that really could have helped a lot of small business owners. And what we found out, or what a lot of folks found out, is that obviously these banks were making more money by giving more money. So they get an origination fee anytime that they begin a loan or loan application for a small business or an individual. And so they were getting a percentage essentially of the loan that you apply for. So it doesn't take somebody who's really sophisticated in math to understand that if you get 1% of a million, that's a lot more than 1% of 100,000. So I think that unfortunately, it sounds like what some of these lawyers have alleged in their lawsuits is that the banks were prioritizing these larger loans, unfortunately, because they could make more money with those. So I know that that's something that some lawyers in California have already filed and looked at, but it looks like they're filing those individually on behalf of certain small businesses. And I'm not sure that they've pursued that as a class action just yet. But certainly, if that's something that you feel like you weren't provided with some of this money that was supposed to be allocated for a small business, and want to, look into it or pursue it, give us a call. We have experience pursuing class actions. I don't obviously have a lot of information on that right now, except the most basic understanding of the facts that those other lawsuits have alleged. But those are in California and not applied to South Carolina, and I'm not aware of anybody in South Carolina pursuing those just yet. But certainly, we'd always, be willing to talk to anybody who thinks they might have been affected by that. And it's really terribly unfortunate that a lot of these small businesses were not provided the money that was essentially promised to them, so that these big businesses could get bigger loans and bigger stimulus, and so that they wouldn't have to look into their own pockets to pay employees or keep employees, which is, that's terribly unfortunate when small business owners are, putting food on the table for their families and having to shut down or fire people.